Hello, everyone. We are, let's see. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. We've got some weird stuff. Your legal or card by children's online. Go to live control room. If you are out there in the audience, hang tight. We got a surprise notice from You Can Create New from YouTube. Dismiss. New stream. Oh, crap. I don't know what's going on here. Looks like we do have one viewer on YouTube, though, although it could be me. Let's get out of here. See how we're doing. 2 on YouTube. All right. Hello, everybody. We're getting warmed up for your faces right now. Your lovely,
Carlo. Hey,
lovely
Kelly.
faces.
Hey, Nelson. Nice to see you.
All right.
Beth, good to see you. Debrielle, very good to see you. Sherry, Steve.
Oh,
hey,
who
Terry.
said that? Sherry Harris says, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Sigler. And on that, you ready to go? Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. And oops, I have the wrong thing up. That's what she said. Hello, hello, everyone. In our orange and black office with my orange and black shirt, we've got the A. You're not AKing anymore, though. I think we have to keep the AK.
That's up to you, yeah.
Switch it over. Oh, there. So we need you to tuck in a little bit.
Okay, should we do this a little too? A tiny bit of that right there.
Yeah, that'll work. Look at you. You look
Hi, guys.
Good. Well, I learned my lesson about telling you look good in these cameras. Last time
I was kidding.
I got yelled at.
Nelson says audio just dropped. Oh, but then he says never mind.
Okay, Nelson says audio still there for everybody. Let's go to
Hey, Shannon.
Main
hey,
camera,
Dr. Daniel
lower
Baker.
third. That's where we should be, right there. Forgot to adjust something in the settings, so we're
Jen.
We'll get through things as we go. Nelson says, never mind. That is a lot of orange, yo. Correct, Daniel Baker. Hello, everyone. Hello, everybody on Facebook. 120 views, 6 people hanging out on YouTube, 4 in the Twitch stream. We have one hell of a show for you today. We got a couple cool things going on. We got a Junkie present, which we're going to talk about. And we also have the final video of the Krakens Bike. It's awesome. A 5-minute video. And it is Austin Parker put so much work into the bike. We're all going to watch it together. You can watch A and I react to the bike because apparently that is something that the kids, the youths are doing now. They react to videos. Although one of our favorite shows is reaction video, Frankenstein's Lab. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. It's Tuesday. We've got 2 junkie questions. We've got a Siglartifact, and keep your questions coming into info@emptyset.com. We would love to get them. We would love to answer them. Mm-hmm. We are doing this on days that what, A?
That start with a T.
Days that start with a T.
I think once or twice on this cast I said days that end with a T, which doesn't make any sense at all.
I don't know how many days end with a T,
not
tell
enough,
you the truth.
Not enough for our casting purposes.
There's the day, Monday, also known as Shoot Day, which ends with a T.
I don't even know what that means.
It's because I don't want to put any money in the swear jar.
I see.
What do we have to drink here, my friend?
So we are drinking. We're drinking a gift that was sent to us by Ellie, who's probably in the chat room, or probably will be in the chat room, from the Blacksmith's Meadery, and this particular one is Fade to Black mead, and what's great about this is she sent this a while back, not having any idea that we would get married, and it arrived just in time for our honeymoon. And my understanding is that honeymoons are called honeymoons because part of the thing that you gave the couple was 30 days of mead, which is made from fermented honey.
30 days of mead.
Yes. I don't know if any of that is true, but that's what I've always understood. And that way honey is antibacterial and has medicinal properties. And so the idea was that you enjoyed your first 30 days sauced up on mead.
Well, we've been fairly sauced up for our first 10 days. So here we go.
So mead. I don't think I've ever had mead before. And we decided to wait until it was on the cast.
Here we go. Here's to you.
Here's to you, Mr. Sigler.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's so I'll tell you a little bit about this. It's such a lovely treat. Fade to Black is our sweet cherry mead. This is from the company's website.
That's delicious.
Made with a twist. It matured for a while over broken black peppercorns, and the taste evolves from a subtle explosion of dark sweet cherries to a subtle bite from the black pepper. Fade to Black never gets spicy, but the aroma and the tingling associated with black pepper are unmistakably there. So, Ellie, thank you so much for this. I know that I had told you that we were going to do this taste one of them before we did it on the cast, but we never got that done because we wanted to share it with you guys. So here we go.
I have been
so far so good. It's pretty good.
I've been to England twice. Once with Mrs. Sigler to my right. The first time I went, we did one of those, those castle type things where people dress up old timey and they served mead, and it was like a honey mead, so it was the color of honey, and I had never had mead before. And thought it was absolutely like dessert in your mouth, delicious, so good. And I drank an enormous amount of mead.
We're probably not going to do that because it seems reasonably alcoholic.
Oh no, I've learned my lesson because not only is it full on high octane alcohol, it is also equally full on high octane sugar. And the hangover I had, I lost probably a whole day of my tourist time in England, and had to go look at Winston Churchill's underground bunker. Yep.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Oh, well, I was very hungover. So I, give me one more reason to hate the Nazis, and that was it. Because I was hungover looking at the place where Churchill helped whoop Nazi ass.
So
Nazi ass.
Mike Langhorst is asking, where can you get it? I will tell you, I don't know if you can get it in the United States unless it's imported. It's the meadery is the Blacksmith's Brewery, and this one is called Fade to Black. There's another one that Ellie sent that we haven't yet tried, but I have no idea if you can get that imported. It is from Belgium, if that helps.
I have an idea. I think we should reach out to the Rodeo Foundation, the people who run the rodeos.
That's not a thing, I don't think.
And the cattle farmers, and they can have. That's a thing either. And if we can get them to make mead, you could have mead, and you could have barbecue. And it could be during a rodeo, and you could have the Meat and Mead Stampede. I think that's a great idea.
That was so much setup for you to get to say.
I'm thinking of changing the name of the company from Edge Entertainment to Meat and Mead Stampede.
One more time, so you get the
Meat and Mead Stampede. Come on and get your honey on with your honey.
That's neat.
I'll work on advertising slogans. It's not quite there yet, but I can smell the odor of genius is in the
Gabrielle,
air.
I'm going to look up the alcohol content, but I can tell you it's a little bit strong. Tracy, the diagram on the wall behind me, I think part of that was the lighting design for our elopement, but yes. I'm not really sure.
Yes, part of that was the lighting design for elopement. The other part is the to your, I don't know what direction it is. The other thing that looks like a ship is a ship. And that is a ship that will be in The Killer,
dum, dum, dum.
Co-written with J.C. Hutchins, or whatever we will name it. We are going to talk about this in depth down the road, but we've got the cover, the original cover art. What do you call it? The art? The main art? The cover image. Yeah. We have the cover image back for the book that is The Killer or some other name. And it doesn't have a title treatment on it yet, so we're not going to show it yet. That was done by an artist named L.A. Draws, L.A. Draws.
Who's lovely to work with.
Lovely to work with, and it's awesome. And I'm not sure why I got on that tangent.
But because you were talking about that, and it's in the book you're
that ship is in there.
There it is. I did it. Aha.
Aha.
Also, somebody asked what the alcohol content is. It's written in Belgian, so I don't really know. I think it might be 12%, so that's probably wine-like. But I can't tell. I did notice though that these are limited edition bottles. We have bottle 109 out of 150.
Man, that stuff's
This is very, very nice.
Dangerous.
Thank you so much, Ellie.
That stuff's dangerous. But the ship, which we will tell you about in future episodes, is somewhere between Serenity, Millennium Falcon, and Ice Pirates, for those of you who want to go back far enough. So we are going to have our own signature ship in the Siglerverse, if that ship makes it through the book alive, which, as you know, is never a done deal. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you this every weekend. I'll tell you again. We have free podcast episodes every Sunday. Every stinking Sunday. You can go to scottsigler.com/subscribe. You can follow me on Twitch, Facebook, etc. Follow my social medias and free weekly fiction. Here's all the places we're offering up right now. We've been told we have to get rid of some of these because, you know what? Evo told me, Evo Terra said, I even had more badges than this. He said, you're starting to look like a general of gosh darn it, a Banana Republic. Look like a Banana Republic general with all the medals and stuff on your badge. So,
sassy Dan Baker, sassy Beth Copenhaver. No, the numbers are Arabic just like normal, but the rest of it, so I don't know what that number stands for, is not in English, and I unfortunately don't speak Belgian.
I don't read Belgian. I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Yes, Tina, that's what I just poured. This was a gift that was sent from Ellie, who doesn't seem to be actually in the chat room today. Well, she's always here, but she's not here today.
Hopefully she watch it. I'm telling you, this stuff is serious trouble because it's like Kool-Aid. It's like a little thick Kool-Aid action.
Mm-hmm. I also don't think this is the kind of glass you serve meat in. Dr. Dan Baker, you can correct me if you know. I think it's supposed to maybe be in a wine glass. I didn't realize it was so wine-like.
Vamp for a second. Hey, I have to fix something.
Hello, my darling. Hello, my baby. Hello, my ragtime gal.
Oh my God, is this actually going to work?
I don't know. I don't know what you're doing.
Well, who does know what I'm doing? Maine.
Oh, hey!
Look at this. Fixed it on the fly. And then I pushed my button and I was happy. We now have to get into our advertiser of the week. And those of you old souls who have been familiar with the show for a while, you probably realize that at this point in time, we're not getting paid for the advertisers. We're promoting nonprofits. And today's nonprofit is
DonorsChoose.org. And I'll say, I don't think this is technically a nonprofit. It's an organization. Yeah, because I don't think they take any money themselves. They are essentially a clearinghouse for lists for classroom projects for teachers. And so I think it's more like Kiva or something where they set up opportunities and
that didn't work.
You can get that from, you can hire that from them or whatever. But it's, they help anybody. They make it easy for anybody to help a classroom in need, moving closer to a nation where students in every community have the tools and experiences they need for a great education. We also focused on a nonprofit, which is a true nonprofit, Pop Culture Classroom last week. And so since I know that everybody's trying to figure out probably all around the world, if your kids are going back to school, you have to figure it out for yourself. I figured we'd probably start this. This is a US only based charity, and I work really hard to find analogs in other countries. This doesn't seem to be the case here, but also a big reason that these are probably important for the U.S. is we don't fund our schools as well as we might.
Oh yeah, that's a bit of an issue.
And that might not be true of other nations. So certainly, as always, I say the same thing all the time. If you are not based in the U.S. and you want to find a local education charity to support and you have the means to do so, please do that. We're just focusing on things that people here people who are listening who can use, and that's veterans, that's animals, that's education. These are the things that we spend a lot of time believing in, and obviously the health and well-being of all of us.
Most important, my health and my well-being. That's really what it comes down to is, how do we keep the kid healthy and cranking out more fiction for you guys. And I'm going to throw this out there as a wild concept that tonight excluded. How we keep me healthy is by not pounding mead all day long, because this is probably going to get silly.
That as a hypothesis.
Cheers, everybody. Here we go.
Oh, Lord. Hey, Balam, it's so good to see you. Sorry.
Jeez, oh Pete's. Married
Balam,
10
so
days.
Much.
And already.
I have a friend just joined in the chat room who I have known for ages and ages and ages. And we met, I think, on the internet. I think maybe on the Kevin Smith bulletin board back in the day, if I'm not wrong. And it was local to San Diego and I was local to San Diego. And I made this huge stink about... I was like, hey, I'm going to drive up to see an evening with Kevin Smith or whatever. If there's anybody local and wants to ride, I'll be headed up. And that way I use the HOV lane, all that stuff. And he and his friend reached out. And I think I was the most paranoid I've ever been. And then this creative, lovely teenager shows up. And he's super cool and super lovely. And then I felt sort of bad about having probably threatened his life. I'm not really sure. So anyway, Balam, it's good to...
How did you threaten his life again?
I think I said, like, if there was anything, if I thought there was anything sort of untoward, I would leave him on the side of the highway, which I'm embarrassed about, but it was great. So it's very nice to see you. Of course I remember. Look at how red I am. I'm still embarrassed about it.
So I'm going to remember that when A gets upset with a gentleman, she threatens to leave him on the side of the highway.
No, it wasn't any. He hadn't even done anything. I had just never, said, hey, sure, why don't you get in the car and drive 4 hours with me or whatever. It's just terrible. I'm still embarrassed like 15 years later.
Barry says, totally inappropriate here, but I have married up. Yes, sir, I have. Although, to be fair, I could marry a rock and I'd be marrying up. I'm...
Hey, that's my husband. Nobody insults my husband, including my husband.
As Danny Baker will attest, we grew up in Sheboygan. And my roommate, my freshman year of college, the lovely, wonderful Andre Ridley, who was black from Battle Creek, and he couldn't pronounce my hometown name, but I never corrected him because it was the best. He's, oh man, you from Sheboygan. I was like, okay, cool. I like that way better than Sheboygan. That's fantastic. We have more stuff for you guys. That is the advertiser. We're back to normal here. I believe what we have now is, let's see if this works. Quick questions.
Okay.
Questions. We've got questions. We've got a gift from Schitt's Creek. It's a quick Q questions
Alexis.
and Alexis. So let's get to our question today. Our question today comes from hailing from the... I did the Isle of Tonga last week. I can't do that again.
Okay.
Hailing from the panhandle of Florida, where COVID cases are skyrocketing, but our contestant doesn't care because she is immortal. It is throat-cutting Lisa Sutton.
I have no idea if she's throat cutting or from Florida, but
accuracy doesn't matter for my ring walk-ups.
I see.
It's irrelevant.
Probably for most ring walk-ups.
Accuracy really doesn't matter for almost everything in my life.
Fair.
As my friends and wife will attest. Sometimes things get made up. It's how we do stuff around here.
I hope so. We're banking on you making things up for the rest of your life.
That's the whole gig, man. Making stuff up.
So Lisa's question was, how did you come up with the design for your GFL aliens?
Funny, you should ask.
She's right there.
Hey, Danny points out Dirty Butt Boys from Sheboygan. That's what's going on. How did I come up with the design for them? Well, I'm a big biology buff, and it always drove me crazy to watch TV shows. And TV shows like Star Trek, where the aliens all just look like us. And when Star Trek, the old Star Trek, the original series, when they tried to get a little bit creative and come up with some aliens that didn't look like us, they looked absolutely horrible because the technology was not in place for that. But it drove me crazy because from an evolutionary point of view, the odds of something turning out looking so much like us are zero. I mean, absolutely zero. Definitely could have bipedal because that's the least amount of legs required to move. And the less energy you have, the more energy you can go up to your brain, and probably bilaterally symmetrical, so split down the middle, probably. But other than that, so much of what we are and what we look like is based on the millions and millions of years of evolution that in our environment and things that have formed us. And if you guys have not heard of the Burgess Shale, go, when you're done watching this, not until I'm finished talking to you young people, go look up Google images of Burgess, Burgess Shale, space Shale. The Burgess Shale was a big kind of this big underwater cliff, if you will, that collapsed due to erosion many millions of years ago and fell like a sandwich, like the lid of a sandwich, and just smacked down on all these creatures. And it's this incredibly fossil rich area, and the critters there look really different. So coming up with the GFL aliens, it was like, let's try and invent first a planet. Let's do the larger ecosystem, the dominant environments of that planet. Let's come up with some basic life, and then let's largely evolve that life. And the main races are based somewhat analogs to Earth creatures, which is where they get their speciesist nicknames from: the crickets, the salamanders, etc. And I wrote the story, and I had an idea in my head, and then I lived in San Francisco, and I had started podcasting, and it's 15 years ago now, so I'm having a little trouble remembering. But through the podcast, I met a San Francisco artist named Greg Polonis, And he's like, hey, dude, I'll draw those. I was like, well, I have no money. So that works great for me because I am not published. I am broke. And I would really like you to draw this so I can use it for marketing. And then he came in and just slayed the drawings. He did so good. You can see those at Siglerpedia. So siglerpedia.scottsigler.com. Search for Sklorno, which is Sklorno. Or the key, which is Ki. A lot of people who listen to the audiobooks don't know how to spell this stuff. I totally get that. And the Quith is Q. How do you spell Quith? Q-U-Y?
Yep.
Yeah. Q-U-Y-T-H. And Greg did all of those drawings. And I had to go back and redo descriptions because he had some things he got wrong, which I was like, that's so effing cool. I'm going to go back and I'm going to fix that in the description. So he and I kind of collaborating are the main reasons that the GFL creatures look the way they do. The other real big factor to that was if I have alien races playing American football and they all have basically the same body shape as we do, what's the point? It doesn't do anything to illustrate what's amazing about American football, which is you have to have significantly different body types in order to win at the game. If you got a bunch of 180-pound guys who are fast as hell and very coordinated, they're going to get destroyed on the offensive or defensive line, and they're not going to be able to compete there. So even though you've got, LeBron James is probably a bad example because LeBron could probably hang in a lot of situations. But down in the pits, the 5 primary offensive linemen and the defensive linemen, if you had a bunch of LeBrons down there going up against a bunch of 340-pound just killers, LeBron, as great an athlete as he is, he would get absolutely slaughtered and the team would just run through his defensive line all day long. So even one of the greatest athletes of all time, LeBron James, cannot compete at various positions on the football field. So I wanted to exaggerate that. So you've got your incredibly fast Sklorno and your incredibly fast Prowat that also can go way up airborne, jump 20 feet in the air, which is something we can't do. And then you have a couple of different races playing the line. You've got the Key and the Heavy G, who are all, your offensive line probably averages 575 to 600 pounds per individual. And even though I made humans a lot bigger, that's not going to work out, kind of, So I put really big, strong creatures on the offensive and defensive line, really big, strong creatures at defensive end. Those are the Heavy G. And then for linebacker and fullback, which was fun, I was able to use the Key. And the Key, if you've ever seen a desert tarantula roll up and roll down a hill, first of all, it's disgusting. I hate tarantulas. I hate spiders. And but if you imagine these things, if they could tuck their arms up like this, perhaps, and roll sideways, that gives them faster lateral movement than a human would have. And they'd be able to pop out of that and attack. And lateral movement is side-to-side movement is a much unheralded factor in the game of football, particularly on defense. Being able to keep your front facing the offensive line and the offensive players and be able to move left and right as fast as you can limits the numbers of times that you have to turn away from the action and run. And when you turn, you're changing your whole momentum and the physics of the game is against you. So that's, there's a lot to it. A lot went into coming up with the aliens. The final reason I would say is because I wanted the reader to experience actual alien life in a Earth-based American football game. I didn't want just great, just things with blue skin and bumps in the nose. I wanted to thrill the reader, trying to imagine what it's like to run through a Sklorno, Quentin Barnes running through a Sklorno on his way through the end zone, or Quentin Barnes getting cheap shotted by a Quith linebacker, or Quentin having to stand in the pocket as a 625-pound Heavy G, which is basically a hairless gorilla, closes in on him, and he knows he's going to get hit. He still has to deliver the ball anyways. It's one thing to say that too. If it's a 330-pound guy, you're like, oh, that's going to hurt. When you hear the word 625 pounds, you're like, it's going to kill him, and it changes the way you enjoy the game.
Another thing that you talked about, or you sometimes talk about when a question similar to this comes up on a book tour, which I find really interesting, is, of course, when you started to write the GFL, there were no audiobooks. I don't even think that there were books on tape when you first started.
I think there were books on tape, but no digital for sure. And
so, if given the opportunity now, would you name a race the Key?
Oh, the Key. The Key. Somewhere A has it, I think, is the original hand-typed timeline written on a Royal typewriter that Mama got me when she knew I wanted to be a writer. Yes, before computers, ladies and gentlemen. Almost before the Apple II. And I typed up this, I'm fascinated by timelines, and I typed up this entire timeline of the galaxy and all these different races. And I was trying to find a game, a sport that I could bring all the races in. The point of the sport was you cannot win unless you have these 5 major races, because they all bring something unique, some unique physicality to the table. And if you don't have just one of them, you're going to wind up losing the game. So I invented several games. I came up with one which I thought was super cool called Bullet Ball, which was a combination between highlight and football, and it was played on a superconductor, a oval-shaped superconductor concave field where all of the players had magnets on their feet, and you could basically skate through the air. And then it took so long to try and figure out how am I going to explain people the rules for this. And then it's a story for another time, but I'll tell you, those of you who haven't heard the story, I'll tell them at another point about how I wound up using good old-fashioned American football, which I'd been around my whole life.
Sounds good. We went back on hold for YouTube, so I don't know if there's anything you can do about that live. Okay.
We have 18 people watching on YouTube.
Cool.
If you're on YouTube, throw a comment in for us on YouTube. It says there's 18 of you, and we're very happy to have you because you're very special. You YouTubians are very, very special people. Let's get back to the main cam, which I goofed up a little bit today, but I'll fix it. Yes, Daniel, we are switching cameras on the reg, and it's pretty dope.
We do have a couple of celebrations. Your fellow author, PC Harry, had a wonderful Monday yesterday.
Tell us about it, eh?
Welcomed a new baby. He and his wife, Jen, welcomed a new baby, and the baby and the mama are doing well. And Paul is already a lovely, attentive, just adorable, new, proud papa. So congratulations to you guys. I think that might be the one that I have in my head right now, but if I think of another one, I'll let you know.
I want you to look deeply into this camera right here. And I just fixed that on the fly. So
What did you fix?
I fixed the ability to do this. Now we're over here, and then Parker Lewis can't lose. A still hasn't seen Parker Lewis can't lose.
I don't think I'm ever going to see Parker Lewis can't lose.
Let's come back to here. So
that doesn't sound like a very compelling story to me. You already know from the beginning he can't lose.
Yeah, but the way he wins is phenomenal. So A has had to listen to me off camera. All right, got a lot of YouTube comments. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. That lets us know what's going on. A's had to suffer endlessly through me shouting at the computers and slapping desks and kicking things, and yet she still married me. So I mean, I got that going on, which is nice. But a lot of times she'll come up and be like, the desk can't fight back. Here's a beer. Yeah. How about you just work the problem? And now we're getting so adept at this that we're working the problems on the fly. And I'm quite impressed. I believe I deserve a cookie. Do we have any cookies in the house?
I think we have cookies, yes. We also still have wedding cake, but you're going to have to eat the last piase today, I think.
Yeah, it's getting a little
dodgy.
How long
does chocolate cake last?
Well, it's International Chocolate Day, so for the rest of the day. So I'm going to have to knock that out. Ladies and gentlemen.
Wait a minute. Kelly McArdle says, but Parker Lewis got canceled, so he did lose.
No show lasts forever, sir. No show.
And Matt McRoberts, we were talking about it earlier in the stream, the stuff behind us. One of them, the thing, if I can figure out how to point to it, this thing is a spaceship from
the Olerin.
The Olerin, which is featured, I did it again, featured in the GFL novella that will come out around the same time that 6 will, sometime later this summer, early fall, back to school time. Right now called The Killer. It might not remain called The Killer because it's a YA book. There's a lot going on with it, but that's what that is. And this was the lighting and sound design for our living room wedding, which I have to say I'm super excited about because we literally got married with 2 people helping us in our house. And Dr. Daniel Baker and his family in Memphis managing the license and the officiating and all that stuff. And in our living room, which I will tell you is about, I don't know, maybe 30 square feet.
About that, yeah, it's tiny. It's tiny.
There were 12 tripods. 5 of them had lights. 4 of them had cameras.
We have many cameras.
Right?
Many
5 of them had
many
cameras.
lights.
4 of them had lights.
4 lights, 5 cameras,
and
plus small tripods.
Plus small tripods.
Plus
with computers and or microphones on them. So that's what that is. that is.
There was a lot to do. Twitch people, we're banging the microphones again. Huh, phrasing. Sorry about that. Apparently Twitch picks up the microphone banging more than anybody else. Microphone banging is also the name of my Pornhub side channel. So
That's definitely gets money in the swear jar.
Oh, no, I didn't swear.
You do not get to talk about porn on a family-friendly show.
Also, Shannon pointed out that they were promised Lizzo last week, so we need to do Lizzo on Thursday.
What does that mean?
The good as hell. We're gonna play bass, and we're gonna sing a little bit.
Oh yeah, we will do it.
It's not gonna last long, you guys, but we will do that. If you don't see it Thursday, A's in charge of the script, which means A's like, but honey, we're not doing Lizzo. It's not gonna happen.
I believe, Shannon, you can make sure I remember.
Is this National Dive Bar Day? Not So Short 23 says, Happy National Dive Bar Day. Fantastic. And dive bars that serve chocolate win everything.
Boss, Jennifer Sherwood in the chat room said, when I lived alone, cake would last forever in my house when I was single. And I'm not going to lie to you, I haven't had a bite of wedding cake, not even one.
Haven't?
I'm not a big fan of chocolate. I've had some of the icing, which is divine. There was a buttercream and a chocolate ganache drip on the top. Mm-hmm. And I've tasted both of those. I had to see what the black buttercream looked like on my teeth, but I didn't show anybody, not even him, because it didn't look so good. It's worse than Oreos, but it was delicious to eat. But yeah, it would have lasted forever in my house. And unfortunately, it was an 8-inch tall cake, and also about 9 inches in diameter. So it's an enormous amount of cake for one tiny human being to eat, but he's doing his best.
Phil Plate on Twitch can't stay with saying the bad astronomer.
Phil Plate.
Some of the most influential scientists of our time watch this show. 2 of them we know of. 3 of them. We have 3 PhDs who watch this show. Probably more.
More.
I get super excited. It's good stuff.
No, Steve, I love icing. I just don't like chocolate or cake.
John Viscar, also not a fan of chocolate. It's chocolate day. You all could just pretend and be nice to the chocolate.
I'm right there with John. If it is around a peanut butter, a little pillow of peanut butter in the middle, I will do that. Although I will say that I like the regular sized Reese's peanut butter cups best, so that I can leave like a little shelf of chocolate at the bottom, and I only have to eat the like the curly sides and the little thin top.
Mike Langhorse says they still 15 years later they still have a piece of wedding cake in their fridge, and it's totally dried out. Number 1, they're supposed to go in the freezer. Number 2, no matter what you do, it's going to be nasty. Number 3,
don't eat that.
No.
Don't eat it.
Forget what she said.
Don't eat it.
I think you should get a phone.
Don't eat it during a pandemic
on
for sure.
Horizontal video, and you should video you and your wife eating it, and like send us the video so we can put it on the show. And then if you throw up, I also would like to see video of that. Don't worry, I'll block out the spew. It'll be fine.
Gross. Don't eat it in a pandemic, people. Don't eat it in a pandemic. Don't even eat like the moldy cheese in your fridge. If there's any mold on the cheese, throw it away. That's how it works. That's how mold works, son.
Let's have a moment here. We've been having this argument even before we got married. Cheese is made of mold. So mold on cheese is just more cheese, isn't it? It's more cheese.
No.
It's greener and crunchier.
Definitely. Crunchy cheese is gross.
I believe there are scientists in the room who will back me up that cheese is made of mold. Therefore, cheese cannot have mold. That is bad for you.
Here's the thing. You can choose one time to get it right during a pandemic and throw away the food that's probably bad that you would have tried a year ago and you might try a year from now. Throw it away, because you know what you don't want to do? You don't want to have to go to the ER to get IV fluids because you've been throwing up.
Ooh, it stings when you're right. It stings. It's like this. That's my sting face. That's my sting face. Speaking of things that sting, AK, you know what time it is? You know what time it is?
I do not.
It's time for Siglartifact. It's the only significant historical object that rhymes with fart. Siglartifact is here for you, and go for it, eh?
I am definitely, before I bring out the Siglartifact, I'm going to have to research before Thursday if there's any kind of like religious artifact or anything that is like, you know, a saint's toots captured in a bottle or something.
There's the Fartonomicon, which goes way back. The Fartonomicon captures the gaseous expulsions of mythological creatures. There's some Minotaur farts in there. There's some Dryad farts in there. The dwarf farts, nobody messes with those because they're just awful. But the Fartonomicon
We talk a lot
is,
about toots in this house.
yeah,
a lot about toots in this house.
there's genuinely a lot of discussion about toots. I'd say it's more like, it's not even Pareto's law.
Easy for you to say.
95-5. 95% of it is me making bad fart jokes and not laughing till I explain the joke. And then she laughs.
I rarely laugh. If I haven't already laughed, I don't necessarily laugh when he explains it. That's not a real thing.
I can prove via mathematics that I'm very, very funny. Pythagoras could do that too, as a matter of fact. Proved by math.
How on earth could you know if
Because
Pythagoras was funny?
His lost and yet found and lost again tome of jokes I've explained to my acolytes is well known in Grecian circles and Roman squares.
This. All right, so here's my Siglartifact. Unfortunately, and I'm ashamed to say I don't know this, our Siglartifact today is this adorable little monster.
Oh, look at the killer. It's so cute.
Blood. Look in the who is this?
That's the dorsal fin.
But what is
Baby McButter.
No, but what is the dorsal fin modeled which dinosaur?
Dimetrodon.
Thank you. Dimetrodon dorsal fin. And so this was given to Scott on the rookie tailgate tour. And the little leg here you can see.
Wow, it's that old? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the little leg here says made especially for the FDØ by Nerdgasm. And I don't know who Nerdgasm is. And I'm bummed about it. I've been looking for days and days and days. But he is so dang cute. Hold him up closer so that I can talk into the mic.
Get a little closer.
He has a little red mouth because that's his blood. His blood, like from eating things. That's his little bloody face. He's so cute.
Get a little closer.
I love him so much. He's a teeny tiny ancestor. We do believe he's Baby McButter. And I am super sorry to say, Nerdgasm, I love this so much. It's always on the Hall of Fame at Siglerfest. It has a place of pride in our underground lair with daylight, and I don't know where it is. I mean, I don't know what your name is.
Hey, hi, I'm Baby McButter.
I know. I know, baby.
I have a joke for you.
Oh,
ready?
Lord. Sure.
Yeah? Okay, ready? Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Okay. I've been working on this all day. Here we go. Why did the chicken cross the road?
I don't know, baby.
He didn't make it across the road because I ate him, and now he's in my belly. Son of a little bastard chicken was chirping at me all the time, and you know what he is now? He's gonna be nothing but chicken poop coming out of my butt.
Isn't it ancestor poop?
Do you want me to explain? No, well, it's a chicken. So
yeah.
Oh, I suppose it's ancestor. It's poopy. It's ancestor poop made of chicken. Would you like me to explain the joke to you?
Please no.
Okay. Well, it's been nice to meet you all. All of you puppeterians watching tonight now see what an ancestor puppet looks like.
So this little ancestor plushie, like I said, was handmade. There is one of them in existence. I do believe she's going to make another one for, I want to say, one of her children. And like I said, I adore it. It's super adorable, and it has a place of pride in our lair. There is
already an ancestor musical. It's on ice. People have been working on it for a while. It's an ancestor skating musical. And now the murderous creature that I've concocted in my book is something that people make for their chillins, the children's. That's absolutely fantastic. Also, let's be honest, Baby McButter's chicken joke was very, very good. It was very, very, very funny. All right, you guys, I have been holding this back. Hold it out. Yo, Leroy. Now we're going to watch this. A has not seen any of this. I have seen some of it. It might bring you to tears while you are fully gassed up on the awesomeness of a creator making something so friggin' cool as a tribute to books that have been important to him and influenced him. I am absolutely touched. This is one of the neatest things I've ever seen. As soon as this video comes on, if you guys could just real quick put in the chat room, we can hear the audio. Then that's all you need to say. That's all you need to say. Let's get over to, here we go. Is it? Oh, Becky. Here we go. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Hey there, Scott and A. Austin.
Too loud. Too loud.
I can hear it.
I know, it's a little loud though. Here we go. Starting again. Here we go.
Parker here. Got my video done here for you.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
Showing some pictures of the before and after and during of the rebuild process of the bike. And I wanted to also congratulate you guys on your wedding. So happy for you guys. You know, that's the reason we live, for love, and just real happy that you guys found each other.
It got dusty in here all of a sudden, you
Showing
guys.
some pictures here of the brand new piston and the cams and all the stuff I did on the motor there.
Oops. Sorry, guys.
My motivation
There we go. Got
behind doing the Krakens theme bike and on the rebuild is I was going through a really tough time a few years ago, back when I discovered the Siglerverse and all the wonderful things it has in store. And the last series I listened to was actually the GFL, because I thought it sounded the most corny. But I went through all the Siglerverse, everything I could find before I decided to give it a try, and it ended up being my favorite. And to this day is my favorite series. And I listen to audiobooks often, 8 hours a day. I mean, I've gone through Stephen King, just about everything he's ever written, and multiple others. But anyways, but to this day, my favorite is the GFL. And it was a comforting thing for me during my tough go about 4 years ago that I could turn to. And I'm real happy with how the bike turned out. My
I thought that was
motivation
thunder at
behind
first.
the
Momo Kilby. Look at
the
this.
font, I guess, on the lettering of the
Wait,
name,
this is amazing.
is I was thinking of the way a Quith warrior would get his the enamels engraved on his carapace. And that
This
was kind
is
of my
so
motivation behind
gorgeous.
that
Yes.
font. The seat cover there is custom. Everything was custom done. It was a painstaking
Montaigne
process.
and Denver's
but
there. How great is
real
this?
happy with the
The
way
only
it is.
variable is time,
variable's
son.
time.
I just wanted to give a big thank you to Scott and
Tweety, Chodo,
for
the
all the
Bright.
wonderful content
So
he's produced
dope,
for
son.
us. And
Look at this.
Do we have a 45 on the Krakens?
got a little bit of riding here. I wasn't able to
Might
go
be
to
awesome.
the track, but this is my backyard. My dogs love to ride, and here we go.
Oh
And then
my
we get
goodness,
actual
how stinking
footage.
Cool. Look,
at
at
that.
this. Look at this. Leathers are...
Rock-ons, look at the dogs like, let's go, fire it up,
time, it's time.
let's go. Oh, shh. Like, dogs are like, I'll take a swear jar. Dogs are like, oh, shit, oh, shit, we're going for a ride. It's about to go down. Look at this.
Yay!
I don't even mind this copyright violation flag we're going to get. It's totally worth it.
Wait, did he add this music in there?
Yeah, that's not me.
I
That's
love
him.
it. I love it. This is his backyard. That's badass.
Our backyard is 4 feet wide, but that's okay. Oh, look at that.
Our backyard's a patio.
Oh, slow-mo. What?
Oh, come on.
Come on
this
with the
is
slow-mo,
so
sir.
great.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Okay, I gotta revisit. This is his backyard.
He lives in Australia, like Crocodile Dundee. Oh! Oh! Look at this.
This is brilliant and gorgeous. How fun.
It's even better they had to rebuild part of the bike to make this happen, to me.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, your backyard is insane. He's got a bulldozer to dig out some trenches for jumping bikes and things. Oh!
Yeah, Angela, good to see you. Angela and the drop kick Murphy's kick ass. That's so good.
What a boss! Look at this. Austin, you are incredible. What a great job. Great video shooting.
Yeah, whoever helped you shoot that, kudos to them as well.
I think he did this solo, all on a tripod. Nope, he's got something tracking for sure.
Robbie, I said the same thing. If there isn't a 45 on the Krakens, we might need to add one. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Whoa, that's a whoa.
Sorry, you guys.
Oh,
Yes!
yeah! Let's go back to the camera. Yay! Hold on here. I got to get to
You need to switch the cameras.
There we go.
There we go.
What? This is the kind of thing where, as a creator, when you get this, and you just, you poop ancestor chicken nuggets. It's all about dropping them.
Oh. That's a callback. That's explaining the joke again.
Well,
just
yes.
in case you're not familiar, this is a big part of the Sigler family.
Wait, hand me that. I can explain this too.
Also.
It's a callback to when I was talking about chicken parts coming out my butt earlier. It's about to go down.
Danny Lundy, I also said ass. I think that might go in the
Oh, I got it.
Wait, hold on. Hold Baby McButter up, because my dear friend John Vizcara, all of our friends, but my good friend John Vizcara, told me that Nerdgasm is, I have to read her name so that I don't get it wrong, is Tina Kolakowski. Tina Kolakowski made that for you.
Kolakowski. Great.
Kolakowski,
Love
yeah.
it. Love it. And also, this is that's ancestor butt. I thought you don't want to see
Right.
an ancestor butt.
Back. Yeah.
Okay.
And Howard, that's actually a great suggestion. We've also been talking about all the work that Guy Fieri is doing, feeding frontline workers during the coronavirus too. So we'll probably talk about that as well.
Pretty sure it's Fieri.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's many TV shows and says his name a lot. Hi, I'm Guy Fieri, and I'm going to eat everything that's in this diner, and it's going to be awesome. And then we're going to drink some beers and hang out. That's every show he's ever done right there.
I mean, I would definitely hang out.
I know. Why wouldn't you want to watch that?
Yeah, I would definitely.
You're going to get to eat this giant sandwich, and then you're going to drink some beer and then drive away in a cool car. I don't get the hate. I don't understand the hate myself. When we were in New York, last time we were in New York, well,
Yep,
a couple of times ago,
the
Guy Fieri restaurant had just opened up in a very influential restaurant block that had many important restaurants, and people were
also known as Times Square.
People were very upset at the Guy Fieri, but now you know what time it is.
I do not know what time. Is it time for questions?
Okay.
Quick question, you guys.
David, one quick question. I have a quick cue. Our next question. Here he is, hailing from the south of Wales, where they grow the weed very, very high. Sean,
Austin,
we can't get much higher. Dyer. Oh, Sean is. Sean
Austin's in the
Austin's
house.
house.
So we're going to talk about Sean's question in just a minute, but Austin, oh my gosh.
It's great, dude.
What a great job on the bike. What a brilliant video. Thank you so much for doing all that for us. I'm so excited. I didn't see it until just now. So congratulations. That's a gorgeous bike.
I'm super impressed. I am also touched that my work could help you through a difficult time or help cope with a difficult time. That's the most important thing to me, is when people can do that. Second most important thing is if you listen to my books in the toilet, I don't want to know. And then third is don't turn on the Babadook. That's my listen.
Yeah, you're not a big fan of the Babadook. Yep. My friend Jennifer says it is Fieri.
But he pronounces it Fieri, doesn't he?
I don't think he does. I don't think I don't know that he says his own name so much.
Hi, I'm Guy Fieri, and I'm bombed out of my gourd.
I think that might be you doing a Simpsons version of Guy, or a South Park version of Guy Fieri.
Okay.
Anyway. Back to our questions here, but yes, please, everybody in the chat room, if you enjoyed that video, if I'm not wrong, we didn't do anything except play it. He did all of that editing, he did all that music, and he did that bike too. So
yeah,
and those riding, I don't think you call them leathers in
I don't know what you call them.
I don't know what, but it's gorgeous.
Awesome. I'm gonna take when the copyright violation comes in. 2-1, Holmes. I'm gonna take that for you. No problem. I'll take that bullet.
So
let's go. If you were in the comments, throw Austin a shout out in the comments. Let him know you enjoyed the incredible amount of work, and I would take a gander the amount of cost that went into that bike too. That was not
even if
cheap.
it's and sweat equity especially. Like he I remember the first time that he emailed, it was about, hey, can I have permission to do this? And if you're listening and you have a specific Krakens or GFL related thing, we always appreciate an email. But if you are using it for your own enjoyment and you're not making a profit on it, or Belladonna420 is in the chat room from Twitch. She is currently, if you're part of the Sigler Junkies page, go to the Sigler Junkies page. There is, she has a...
on Facebook or on Twitch?
On Facebook, sorry. Okay. Yeah, if you're part of Sigler Junkies on Facebook, go there. Belladonna has a handful of masks, Sigler-themed masks that she is making available through, I think, maybe Redbubble or something. But I always know that whenever she does these things, it's a charity, or it's a fundraising thing or a charity thing or something like that. So feel free to go do that if you desperately need an empty set mask of some sort. We are considering maybe making an empty set mask, but I think you should just go with what makes you happy.
I think though, if we
Probably.
did make an empty set mask, it's going to give you more gallons in the lungs, and nobody wants that. That's not
Probably not.
That's not good. What is our question?
Oh, yeah. So Sean Dyer, last SIGLERinPLACE asked, how are you guys taking care of yourselves, i.e. keeping from getting that fried brain feeling?
Well, Sean, we can't get much higher, Dyer. I'm quite proud of that nickname. That's a throwback. That's a big throwback. We are, first of all, I have almost no responsibility for taking care of us. It's all this kid right here who has a Cold War food stash, we've got medicine set aside for the lean times. A does most of the work of holding down the fort, if you will. It's taken me a while to understand this about our business. But there's one factory in the company, and that factory is me playing on the keys. So we have a lot of division of labor, and A is much more organized than I am and more careful when she goes out to shop. So you're pretty much handling like literally everything.
Yeah, and the other thing is
I fixed the toilet. I did fix the toilet.
And you hung a towel hook, I think, too.
Yeah, goddamn right I did.
Also hung up a lot of bases. A lot of bases.
We'll show those soon.
Yeah. So yeah, I do, especially in the lockdown, which in California and especially Southern California, starting tomorrow is about to go back down a phase, and we're going to be locked in some more because, of course, that's how science works. So masks are not a political statement. They're trying to save everybody's lives, including your own. So we are locked in. We'll probably be locked in the rest of this year is my best guess. In a previous life, I was a medicinal chemist. I worked on what is now the quadrivalent flu vaccine that lots of you guys probably got or hopefully will get again this year. You should get your flu shots unless you're immunocompromised and cannot. So I know a little bit, but not a lot. I also had another client who I did mostly travel logistics for, and now there's no travel logistics, so I have a lot more time on my hands, and I have been in this underground bunker with daylight for the last 20 years. So I'm a little more familiar with the run of the household. So yeah, I've taken over much of the supporting household duties because I can't write a Sigler book because although I'm a Sigler now, I am not this Sigler.
There can be only one.
There can be only one, and that's him. So I try to support. I know we have a lot going on. We have so many things coming out soon. We are this year, which is good because you will all also probably be locked in. We've got a lot of content coming out. I know we had a dearth last year, but that's because we...
Big like a pickle.
Yeah, we have so many things coming out this year. So I'm trying to manage that. But there even a lot of the vendors that I work with for our work are furloughed, working from home, that kind of thing. So we're doing the best that we can.
I'll tell you one thing we've been doing is watching the entire run of Schitt's Creek, which is... unbelievably good. The first season really it dragged for me, and I watched it to try and be nice, basically. Oops, I got it. We're gonna go back to the main. Mm-hmm. There we go. Still got a few hiccups in there. I watched it and was because I had so many friends who loved it, and I was like, you know what? I'll just keep my mouth shut. I'll watch this. And then by the second season started to take off, and now we are in the 5th season. It is 2 of the best love stories I've seen on TV. I am absolutely delighted and enamored with it. We have 2 more episodes to go to finish up the whole thing, and we might be watching it. We might be watching both tonight.
Yeah, we might be.
Both tonight. So what else are we doing to stay healthy? We are starting to work out again from time to time.
Yeah, I had a kind of a. I think you guys probably heard about this.
She got Tommy John surgery, and she can only throw like 87 now. Yeah, good heater, but not great. Not great.
I'm sure we'll talk about it. We did mention earlier this time last year, I was stuck in a tiny town in Texas trying to make my way to see my good friends Shannon and Jen and my goddaughter in Austin. And I hit a javelina, which is like a fuzzy pig. And I will tell that story someday soon, I think, because, content is king. But my big deal last year was that in March, my shoulder froze and I couldn't, it was this one, but I could hardly raise it like that. And so I went to a lot of PT. And then right when my shoulder was probably mostly unfrozen, it's not all the way unfrozen now. I can't raise it up like this quite yet, but it's getting there. Then I broke my own heel. And so here it is, June, and literally the day I went into lockdown, I got the cast off my heel and I couldn't do any PT because of lockdown. So now I'm done with the at-home PT and I'm starting to get a little more exercise, starting to do that remotely, but he runs every day.
Also, I'd like A's selling herself short. When you enter Thunderdome, sometimes you have injuries. She broke her heel in Thunderdome. And it was a glorious, glorious battle. We've buried the bodies. Everything's fine. But don't go into Thunderdome with unless you're ready to bring your best performance.
My A game? Oh, Lord. Would you like me to explain the A game reference?
I don't think it needs to be explained. I think it's great.
It's like this all the time.
Okay. AK, why don't you tell them what we've got coming up next week? We have 2 giant things coming up next week. Number 1, I'll tell it, is...
Okay.
Number 1 is... No, you tell it because you like this game. Tell them what next week is.
I don't know what next week is. What are we talking about? Oh, yes, that's the game. I see. Yeah. So as you guys know, I ask you every week, and last week we got a whole bunch of questions. I know there's some from Jen Lundy. I know there's a bunch, and I have them all. I've taken them out of the chat. So even if you just want to ask a question here, I will look at all these comments tomorrow and make sure they get in the chat. But I always need help because I think we're going to be doing this probably for a year. I need help with celebrations. If you have a friend or a family member, that's having a birthday, if you're adopting a cat, if you got accepted for your MCATs, I don't care. Send them to me as put them in here as a celebration. That's 1. 2, if you have any like holidays or whatever, because what we're celebrating today, because July 9th there's not a lot going on July 9th that I want to celebrate, but it is the 143rd anniversary of the very first Wimbledon. And
the very first Wimbledon, a game played by gentlemen playing on grass.
Well, I'm not so sure. Well, yes, on grass, but I'm not so sure it's gentlemen.
Also, possibly, is Wimbledon ever played upon a clay court?
I mean, maybe. It's a grass court, actually.
Well, at one point, there were only gentlemen. It was a gentleman's game.
Well, but we fixed that. Now it's the way it should be.
Everyone is available to play.
Now it's the way it should have always been.
Now it is the way it should have always been. But it's the 143rd anniversary. And I believe you have a not so fun fact about Wimbledon as well.
So this year Wimbledon is canceled. It is the very first time. I love tennis because it's an individual team sport, and I know that some people may not. I'm not sure everybody believes that, but I believe that there's a lot of sportsmanship in it. There's a lot of creativity in it, and there's just a lot of power in it, and I love it. Wimbledon.
Also great clothes.
Well, now they're much better. They used to be boring.
Well, Serena jazzed things up a little bit. I like that. I like that.
Well, so did Agassi in the 80s. He had a lot of hair.
Don't even start me on my John McEnroe impression because the swear jar will fill up dramatically.
But anyway, 143 years ago, Thursday was the very first Wimbledon. And this is the very first year that Wimbledon won't be played, won't go on. There won't be a tournament in peacetime.
Poppycock!
There's only we need a better pop filter for Scott.
Poppycock! Rubbish.
So during World War I, they suspended Wimbledon for the 3 years that World War I was affecting London, and I think it was 4 years for World War II. And so what I'm hoping is this is just a pandemic shutdown and not the start of World War III.
I'm honestly surprised. The English are a tough bunch. I'm surprised they didn't just like, all right, I know there's craters in there, but we're going to play through. We're just going to play through.
Absolutely an Irish accent.
And Irish people have played the tennis. It's a fact. It's a fact.
Definitely also, not what you started saying. You said the English, and then you went...
Because once you say the English, all you can think about is Braveheart. So I get to kill the English. And this great movie. One other thing.
Wait, Jen Sherwood, did we go see Goonies a year ago today? Yay, Goonies never die.
Yay, Goonies. And happy anniversary, Kelly and Jerry. I saw them there. Happy birthdays. We got those in there. Poppycock. And there's one more thing we're going to start next week. While we don't want to add a burden on anybody's pocketbook, we have decided there's something very, very fun that we could do. We are slightly into the cocktail culture, phrasing, and we have many friends who are into the
cocktails.
Cocktails.
That's my more Rose
Johnny,
impression.
let's time for some cocktails.
You gotta drop the second syllable in.
What do you do?
Johnny.
Johnny.
There you go. Better.
That sounds like Forrest Gump. Johnny is a very special friend.
I know Meredith Baker Yarborough. We'll wish her a happy birthday on Thursday for sure.
So here's what we're going to do. On Tuesday, A is going to make us a drink. We're going to then talk about the drink, post the drink recipe on Tuesday on the show. Then we're going to post it up at scottsigler.com and give you guys the opportunity, if you want to make the drink with us for the Thursday show, and we all get seltzery together. We've all got stars in our eyes and cotton in our ears. Whatever other euphemism you want to come up for being drunk, because those are terrible euphemisms. Terrible.
And because all of you are staying safe, staying science, I will tell, and staying smart, I will tell you this. We are going to do this so that I make about a month's worth of drinks from the same basic liquor, so that you're not, running out every week to get a new thing at the grocery store or the liquor store. So I think what we're going to start with for the next 4 weeks or so, if you have gin on hand, I'm going to probably be using Empress 1908 gin, or maybe Hendrick's gin or St. George's gin. Those are the three that I currently have. And champagne. You'll be able to make a whole bunch of things. And just in case you want to get totally ready and start playing on Tuesday, I will tell you I'm going to make on the cast on Tuesday a French 75, which is my very favorite drink. And we're going to start there because Scott came up with this idea. We talked a little bit about it after Courtney Schools came up with the idea of talking about characters' favorite, or what drinks recommended us of characters. And I'm going to start with that drink, and then I'm going to make a handful of drinks, probably mostly out of rum, bubbles, and probably vodka, which is a flavor.
Can you look in the comments here from Matt Bowler? I wish we would talk about this on Thursday. On July 9th, the USS Roosevelt comes home to San Diego after the longest post-World War II deployment, breaking their old record.
Matt, that's a great idea.
I'm trying to type comments into you guys, and most of them are not going through. The general ones are not going through.
Yeah, George, I will tell you, George Beck says he votes a St. George's gin, and I love the terroir gin so much from St. George's, and I have that. But part of the reason I'm saying any gin is I want people to be able to choose what they already have in their houses. But yeah, I will probably be using all month one of those three gins. They have different flavor profiles, but you guys can absolutely use any gin. I'm not going to make something so specific without any warning. And I will also tell you, probably if you get a bourbon, or you have a bourbon, or if you're headed out to the store to stock up, I would get a bottle of vodka, a bottle of bourbon, a bottle of champagne, and a bottle of gin. But I'm going to focus on the gin and the champagne this month.
I did not mention this during the question from We Can't Get Much Dyer, excuse me. What are we doing to stay healthy? Drinking.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It's a crazy thing. This has been such a crazy...
Because we ingest it onto the inside, and the alcohol kills the COVID from the inside out.
None of that is actually how that works. But I will say this. We just had this discussion. We have had a crazy couple of months. So have all of you guys had a crazy couple of months. But the thing about this is we just talked about... Oh, wait, hang on. Before I say that... Steve, the three gins that I'm talking about are St. George's Terroir gin. I might not be pronouncing that right.
Ask Guy Fieri how to pronounce it.
Empress 1908 gin, which is bright purple. And Tony Tryon says looks like Romulan ale. So experience points for you.
Nerds. There's nerds in the chat room, everybody.
Did I do the experience points right, though, right?
Yes.
Yes. And third, like a Hendrick's gin would work just fine as well. What was I just talking about?
I don't know. I don't know. I got distracted by beauty and I forgot all of it.
We
Sorry.
did actually talk about this weekend. We, of course, have been having a little bit of a celebration. We went back to work on the Monday after we got married. We've been working all week, but we have also been, we also had a 1 week anniversary little toast and everything else. Without question, Sean, I have been drinking more than I normally do. And I haven't been eating more than I normally do, but I have been cooking a lot more than I normally do. So we actually had a discussion this last week, like, cool, looks like San Diego is getting locked down again.
Oh, yes.
And,
yes.
And that now we know is going to happen tomorrow. So we have sort of talked about, like, cool. So we went from, oh, geez, I'm in my 40s, in our 40s, we're about to go into a pandemic for a few months, and now we're out of that crisis mode, and now trying to figure out how we stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, and don't have to go to the doctor for any sort of new symptoms, by kind of managing, like, okay, maybe we have a glass of wine with dinner, but that's it. And, you know, definitely both of us have to get outside and exercise and get fresh air and get sunshine and stuff like that. And we're now trying to plan for how we pandemic for another 6 to 8 to 12 to 15 to 18 months. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, because it's actually been a kind of an ongoing conversation for us, because all I want to do is cook and make drinks.
And all I want to do is zoom and zoom and zoom, zoom, and a boom, boom. Go on, shake your rump. Is that right?
All you want to do is sit in this tiny hot room and write. Music.
All I want to do is write, and write. Go on, shake your pen. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
But here's the thing I'll say. Did you say shake your pen?
I did. I said shake. I shake your pen because I had nothing. Go on, shake your rump.
If you are feeling the same way, like, geez, I've been doing everything I can to get through this, which is mostly Jim Beam every night, and you want us to talk about this more, because I'm not saying that we drink a fifth of liquor every night. I'm certainly not. We're not there yet. We're definitely more productive than that. But I can see why it gets oppressive to not have guidance, and to not have a deadline, and to not have, if you make it through to Christmas, you'll be fine, and all that stuff. So if you want us to talk about that more, we will certainly talk about that more. Even if you don't want us to, we may do some of that. So,
and I've gone straight to the Listerine. I'm just chug-lugging that. I got a nice mug for it. It's very nice. Jan Edwards Jordan, you're a little
Jan,
late.
I think maybe.
What?
It might be Jan Edwards Jordan. I'm not sure.
I'm sorry. Welcome. I know you're late. You want to see our smiling faces. Ready? Give them a smile. 3, 2, 1.
Scott can't smile naturally. Look. Let's smile.
Okay.
Let's smile naturally for the camera.
Smile
ready?
naturally
3,
for the camera. Ready?
2, 1. And there it is. There's the natural smile. He quite literally cannot make himself smile normally. He has to laugh first.
If you guys ever see me smile when I'm talking to you, it's because of you and all your faces and all your lovely brains and all your lovely hearts. And now we're going to close out this show. We've gone 6 minutes over budget. We do it live.
Sorry, you guys.
Do it live. And hopefully the sound is okay this week. We've been working on the cameras and the setup. The lighting is still very, very goofy between the two cameras. We'll keep working on that. We love you. You're great. Send those questions in to info@emptyset.com. We will be back Tuesday to celebrate the Roosevelt, Wimbledon, and also to try and inject some alcohol.
Actually, we're going to be back on Thursday.
What did I say?
Tuesday.
I said Thursday.
He did say Thursday.
I said Thursday. We're going to inject some alcohol directly into our bodies via our oral orifice. Hey, Kay, I think it's time we say goodbye.
One more time. Ellie, in case you're watching this tomorrow, thank you so much. This might be the first time I've ever had mead, and it was perfect to start with Fade to Black by the Blacksmith's Meadery. You guys who are out there.
Is it possible?
Yeah, well, of course.
A little more. You know what? I mean, come on. It's made my Irish-English accent phenomenal.
Definitely has vitamin C in it. I will definitely tell you that.
We're going to have a point. That's pretty good, right? Okay.
So, as we always say, he's had a lot of mead. You guys, please stay safe. If you are anywhere near us in the country, we are in Southern California and San Diego. And if you're anywhere near us, if you're in Phoenix, if you're in Los Angeles, if you're anywhere in between, if you're in Las Vegas.
And damn your Texas pride. Put on the mask and ride it out.
If you're in
ride
Texas,
it out, man.
and
Come on.
So many people we love in Texas. So many people in Florida.
I love Texas.
Like, you guys, please trust that this is not a political issue. Stay home, stay safe, protect your family, protect yourselves, wear a mask, wash your hands, do all the things.
We don't give a damn about the politics. We just don't want to see you croak, and we don't want you to be carrying the guilt of like, well, I did go to that 4th of July cookout, got involved in that side orgy over at the dive bar, and then grandma died. So, and we don't want that to be you.
And
except you can have the orgy part, but I don't want anybody to die is what I'm saying.
And we'll be honest, we talked about it last week too. We were locked down for 4 months. We had 5 people in our home the day we got married to help us do that correctly. We've been locked down, not out of the house except for dog walks since then. And we'll be there until Sunday, exactly like that until Sunday. So it's not that you can't ever take a risk. I know people have super important things they have to do with their family and their friends and celebrations and not so celebratory things that they have to do if people get sick, but just be as smart as you can be.
Kelly, there's a reason. Kelly McCardle, there's a reason we don't have you in a picture-in-picture saying the things that you say in the chat room.
Lord.
Because the FCC would definitely pester me. I think that is it. AK, you ready?
I am.
We want... Hold on. I gotta get queued up. I gotta get
Lord.
queued up. This is very difficult.
Oh, have some chocolate, you guys. Definitely have some chocolate.
Yeah,
if
have
you
some chocolate. We want you to stay smart.
Stay safe.
And stay science. Can we give him a big dating game kiss?
I think so. And until Thursday...
Mwah!